What? Oh,
Like I said, the timing's off a little bit. So
timing's off on what?
I was
Oh
following
no,
you
that
up on
was
something.
me.
So
I was late hitting the
okay,
button. I'm blaming Garrett.
I was off by about
My
35
fault.
seconds. So all right,
Okay,
When in
my
doubt,
fault. I'll take that.
Gary did it.
I'll take that hit this time.
This
You're
this
batter up
time.
next.
This time. Yeah.
You're batter up next.
And no doubt. Hey, you gotta accept payback because payback's gonna come. All right, we're streaming. That's locked in.
How was your workout this morning?
Anytime Dale comes in, it's like he's gonna have me doing stupid crap. He comes in with pads, and it's like, God damn it. Hey, I'm not a fall risk.
There you go.
Okay.
Not yet.
Am I gonna get? Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. They ain't over yet. All right. The cruise is Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna act like I know nothing about it because
Okay.
okay. We're just gonna talk because
Yeah, I know nothing about it, so.
that's what this job is. 1230 WBBP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM. All presented by St. Barnabas. It's more than places, it's a purpose. One day before fall, what that means, among other things, is we start to see a dial down with events. Not completely, but you start to see it fade a little bit. And one of the events that's going on this weekend, and I want everybody to know about it so we don't miss it. Gary Snair is with me. Gary Snair, I would love to have the conversation that we just had off the air on the air. And that laugh tells you everything, doesn't it? Gary Snair of GNU's Bodyworks, but that's not why you're here. You're here because the heathens are coming.
Yeah.
All right. Now that when I was a kid, that was a bad word. That was a biker gang.
Well,
this is a good thing. Explain what it is.
Well,
It's
we've
Sunday.
had discussions with ministers about that name. They're like, we're going to talk to you about this.
Have you really? I wondered.
Well, it's been funny and
Yeah.
interesting in some of them.
Well, how do you tell everybody what the event is? Because it's a tremendous event, and it's this Sunday. It's a car show and a car cruise.
Yes, definitely.
right.
Cars, motorcycles, bikes, you name it, bring it all. Trucks, four-wheel drives. We're pulling together for a Project Hope so that they can help feed local families in the county.
All right. Where is it? Conway?
Yeah, Conway, ball fields up by the fire station. If you're gonna ask me
Sunday.
what the address is, I'm drawing a total blank.
Oh, that's not a bad way to be. I've drawn total blanks for years, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't seen anybody notice yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's the Heathens Car Cruise. How did you get involved in it? I know, obviously, you're, as the British would say, you're a petrol head. This is this is your life. But how did you get from I'm going to a car cruise to I'm helping organize a car cruise?
Well, kind of to take it back a few years.
Yes, absolutely.
We started off, it was just me and my buddy, we know enough car guys. We wanted to start a little group, so we started a little group. And another one of our friends held a car show at one of the local retirement homes.
Okay.
We, of course, attended, and this was during COVID. And next thing I know, I thought, well, this is a great idea. Maybe we ought to just start going around to the different retirement homes, and if they'll allow us, put on a little show for these people, get them outside, get them some interaction.
And when you say a show, you're just talking about rolling up in cars?
Yeah, just rolling up in what we got.
And letting people come out.
Let them ask questions. And yeah. It was a really good time. And next thing I know, we got 37 members. And
next thing I know, I'm in charge. Is that what happened?
No, there is nobody in charge specifically in our group.
Okay.
We kind of, it seems to be working that way, because when you put people in charge, then you get an hierarchy, and you know how people can get.
Yes.
Yeah. So we keep it real relaxed. Next thing I know, we're being approached. Well, one of our members is being approached by Project Hope because they lost some of their funding, and here we are with a month and a half to figure out how to set up a car show.
Well, that was my next question. Gary Snair is my guest on Teleforum. We're talking about the Heathens Car and Motorcycle Show. It's this Sunday from 11 to 8, but you know this and I know this. People are going to show up before that with their stuff.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay. But how long did you have to put this together? Because there's a lot of moving parts. I'm looking at, you've got auctions, you've got raffles, you've got food and beer and drinks and vendors and a DJ and all that. Had a month and a half.
A month and a half, yeah. We usually with the people that I've spoken with say that it takes about 6 months to set up a show.
Oh, easy.
With that's the word I'm looking for here. Casually, okay.
Right.
Done.
Shove
it into a month and a half.
Yeah.
We've had all of our members, all hands on deck the entire time, trying to get the details worked out. I think the hardest thing for us to find was like food vendors that had opportunity to make it, because most of them are always already booked up.
Well, yeah, for them it could be short notice, but
short notice ain't the word.
Yeah, you got that taken care of, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever a point in the last month and a half you thought, man, I'd love for us to get this together? I don't know if we're gonna get this together.
There was a couple of points.
Were there?
Yeah, where I was like, you know what, this is gonna be a wash. When we're kind of like, and I'm everybody keeps telling me it's coming together, and next thing I know,
were you the naysayer of the group?
No.
No,
I was actually being affected by a couple of the ones that were like, I don't know, is this worth it? You know, we're really short notice. And then I just kept saying, look, we committed to it. You know, show your character. We committed to it. What's that say to you?
Okay, now I'm gonna call you out on something you said earlier because of what you just said.
What's that?
You said nobody's in charge.
Yeah, nobody's in charge.
The attitude you just talked about, that's the attitude of a person that's willing to be in charge. If you don't want to be in charge by title, you at least stepped up. When
exactly.
You have naysayers.
Yeah, we like to. I like to see people step up in the group. I mean, we have the 3 or 4 founding members,
right,
that people kind of defer bigger decisions to.
The OG guys.
Yeah. But essentially, there's nobody in charge. You know, like for example, this car show, our member Mark Happ, he's the one that brought it up to us, and when we all kind of said, okay, let's do it. I remember looking at him and saying, guess what? It was your idea. you get to run with it. And he did exactly. He laughed at me just like that. And I said, I'm not joking.
Have you ever put together an event like this before? I know you've been a part of a lot of events like this.
Yeah.
We met at last year's Beaver Falls car cruise, right?
I'm always there.
But putting it together, what did you not know that you quickly in a month and a half found out?
Let's see. Everything I learned in a month and a half, and there's still things I've missed, because one thing we're fortunate with is 3 or 4 of the wives in the group, they have jobs in research. So you know how much easier that makes things when we're, us guys, we're good at executing. They give us the orders and we carry it out. And that's basically how it's been working. They've made the phone calls, they've done the digging, and
if you have a question, they probably are going to have the answer looked up before the end of the question.
If we have a hard question, we'll
Yeah.
usually have an answer within an hour or two from one of the 4 or 3 or 4, or all 4 of them at the same time, confirming or backing up whatever.
It's like, I was right. No, this says you were wrong.
Yeah, this is wrong. Exactly.
The event is the Heathens Car and Bike Show, and it happens in Conway. Benefits Project Hope. Where is it in Conway? Not the address, but
well, I'm actually trying to think of it now.
It's at the ball field. It's on Gross Street, isn't it?
Gross Street. If anybody is familiar with Conway, where the fire department is, we're in the ball fields directly behind the fire department. That's the best way to describe it. You can't miss it. If you come in, I think on Foot Street, you make a right onto Gross Street, and you're there. It's that easy.
How many cars and motorcycles are you expecting?
As many as we can get.
But have you heard? Have you heard back? Because I was looking. There's a lot of events this weekend, but I didn't see any other car shows this weekend.
Yeah, there's a few other ones.
There?
We
Okay.
do have some competition running. I spoke to a number of people. Well, when we were wallpapering New Brighton show,
Right.
I ran into 2 Shriners who say they're coming, and that right there was really kind of impressive. They're like, "We're coming." I'm like, oh boy, this could either go really good or I could get 2 people.
Are they going to show up in the little go-karts? How are they
You
coming?
know what? I don't know if they're going to plan on doing that, but he did say they have a number of members that are hot rodders and restorers, and I'm like, bring them.
How cool is it that you're starting to see, and it's been that way this summer, but to see people coming out and living their lives again.
Oh. Yeah. Some of us never stopped doing our own thing.
You just went about it and looked around going, okay, that's your call. I'll make my call.
Exactly. I just want to see what Beaver County can give. You know, this is kind of a test in our eyes to see how generous this county can be in general.
How do they give when they show
exactly.
up? How do they give if I show up at the car show Sunday, how can I contribute financially?
Financially?
Yeah.
Well, you could bring canned goods.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the easiest way. Just bring a couple cans of corn or something for a Christmas or a Thanksgiving dinner. We are accepting monetary donations, cash and checks. All the checks will be written out to Project Hope, and we will have cash locked in a safe box until the end of the show. But that's pretty much it. I mean,
what is Project Hope for people that don't know?
In general, I've heard from other people who have actually taken advantage of the program. They go down to, I think it's Church of the Redeemed in Conway, and I think it's Thursdays. They give out food boxes for people who are struggling, and they do that. Sometimes they help people with their bills and whatnot. I mean, you would have to actually speak more in depth with the pastor or minister who's running it. But I've only met him, I believe, once, maybe twice.
Okay. What did they say when you said we're going to do this? Because this got brought to you, said, let's have a car cruise, car show, and we're going to raise money for this great cause, Project Hope. When you talked to the Project Hope people, were they asking you to help, or did they get told, hey, we're helping?
They asked, again, our one member, Mark,
right,
and he brought it up. He's like, we're doing it. Well, I was like, maybe not. We've never taken on anything like this. It's kind of small, short notice,
extremely short notice.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, we're doing it. They attended. The minister attended one of our meetings. We kind of got a general feel of the guy. Next thing I know, we're planning.
Well, wait a minute. Back up a second.
How to do it.
The name of your little club is the Heathens, right?
Yeah.
The minister showed up at a Heathens meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's cool and interesting in itself.
If you look back at, and I don't like to say this too loudly.
Okay.
If you look back at how most of us were when we were kids.
Yeah.
And growing up with our hot rods and whatnot, we weren't.
You was neither. Well, no, wait a minute. You weren't trouble. You were just rough and rowdy ways and rabble rousing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: you threw it out there. What happened? What day did you wake up and say, "I, Gary Snair, am going to be a functioning member of society"?
Just age.
You just got tired?
No, just age. You know.
Wised up.
Yeah. You know, everybody changes as they grow, you know?
All right. It's none of my business. I'm going to ask you anyway. How old are you?
55.
All right. We're about the same age.
Yeah.
If 55-year-old you could go back and talk to 18-year-old you, what would you tell him?
I don't know if I'd tell him to change a thing.
No?
Because he wouldn't be the same guy he's sitting here now.
I didn't think about it like that.
People don't look at it
exactly
like
right.
that. People don't look at it like that. You change one thing in your life, and the next thing you know, you're a different person.
Well, what's the movie? The Butterfly Effect. If you
Bingo.
step on one button, and it's like it could change absolutely everything.
Everything.
All right, but no, go with rabble rousers. Heathens, we were all in some version or another growing up. I got called heathen by most of my uncles until I was in my 20s.
Oh, that was my grandmother all the time.
Your grandmother?
Oh, my God, yes. Yeah. You kids are all heathens. And the next thing you know, she's giving you a hug and a kiss and sending you, patting your butt.
Well, no, that's exactly how it worked. I'm going to whip your tail end, but then I'll hug you afterward and give you a piece of pie and, understand that it'll be good.
Yeah.
Gary Snair is my guest. The Heathens Car and Motorcycle Show is Sunday in Conway. You wouldn't tell yourself anything different. Not, I'm going to tell you this is your 18-year-old me, do this differently. Just heads up for this, heads up for that. What do you wish you knew then that you do know now? Because you said you grew up. Your
not to sell.
priorities aren't the same.
I know not to sell some of the cars I had. Yeah.
Well, do you look back and say, why did I sell that? Give me an example, because you've been a car guy your whole life. You've
Any
had
one of
cool
my 3 Novas.
Any of the 3 no?
Any of
Well,
my 3
why'd you
Novas.
sell them?
Huh?
Why'd you sell them?
Money.
Well,
Tight times.
Gary, a man's got to eat. What good's a car to a dead man?
Well, that's why you're not dead. I sold the
That-
car so I could eat.
It's so you could eat. But
It's
see,
that
no,
easy.
you can't blame yourself for that. Man's got to survive. I'm talking about, I sold that and I shouldn't have sold that and I didn't need to. As a lifelong car guy, do you look back and say, that's
Yeah, there's
one?
a couple. There's a
that's-
couple. There's a couple. Well, right now I'm not really having much of an issue with it, but I built a Buick that's been running around.
What is it?
It was a '55 Buick Roadmaster, all custom.
What's that get, about 4 or 5 miles to the
No,
gallon?
actually, that car did pretty good. It got about 12.
12.
Yeah, it got about 12 for being a 4,500-pound beast.
So it costs you, every 3 miles, it costs you $1.
About that.
Yeah.
Sometimes more if you put your foot down in the carbs.
Well, and you're going to put your foot
Well,
down. That's the whole
yeah.
point.
Oh no, this thing was a slug. It couldn't get out of its way with the wind at its back. It was the old 55 Buicks have a transmission called a Dynaflow.
Yeah.
Everybody had nicknamed them back in the day.
Dynaslow.
Was the Dynaslow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, but
that says it all.
But what was the argument for the people that like it to be that way? Because if it wasn't that way, you're not going to be able to move 4,500 pounds of car.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're talking about torque and all that stuff,
Yeah,
which I don't understand.
It really didn't have even much of that. I mean, 322 nailhead doesn't have a lot of power.
on a 4,500 pound car.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite car?
All of them.
No. No. The heathens gods come down and say, Gary, because you guys got this car show together in a month and a half, you're going to get the pink slip to any vehicle you want. You can have one. It's yours for the rest of your life. You can't sell it. What's your pick?
Oh, wow. That's a deep question.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
And it can be for an
You know what?
emotional
No,
reason.
that's actually not that deep because I do have one car that I would almost like wade through a small classroom of kids with a chainsaw.
You
For.
did.
70 split bumper Camaro with a Z28 package on it. Every time I've gone after one of those cars, my life is turned upside down.
Now, wait a minute. It turned upside down good or turned upside down bad? Because
Bad.
that sounds like Christine, that car that killed people.
Yeah, that car is my unicorn. That's the best way to put it.
That's your Moby Dick.
Yeah, every
Okay.
time I go after it, man, just look out. It's happening.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I don't know why. It just happens.
It's that
way.
car.
I'm not supposed to have that car. That's how I feel.
Is there something I don't know this. Is there something extraordinarily rare about that version of Camaro?
Yeah, the split bumper.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The split bumper, I believe, was the first year for that, and for that body style of the car. And to find the split bumper is a rare because in 71 and 72, the government had.
The government always.
Yeah, they had a big issue with impact ratings on the front of that car, so General Motors added a full bumper to it. It goes all the way across. I want the dangerous car.
I want to be the one responsible for if I hit something,
I die.
it's on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so the government did that, but they let the Pinto get sold after it was blowing up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Gary, I'm just trying to apply logic, and it's making my head hurt. Gary Snair is my guest. We're going to talk more about the car cruise and more about cars and more about being heathens as youth after news on Teleforum.
Hey, it's the Beaver Valley Community Concert Association proudly announcing its exciting 2022-23 season. Show number 1, Atlantic City Boys, Tuesday, September 20th at 7:30 p.m. Show number 2, Nick and Desi, Broadway Song, Dance, and Romance, Saturday, October the 8th.
All right, we got nothing to do for
About 4 minutes.
longer than that
Really?
because we talked long enough where I was able to skip through the first stop sign.
Well, you know me, man. You get me going. Look out.
Anytime you discover that you've got a guest that can actually talk, go.
Really?
Absolutely. You can go back and fix the others up because, hang on. I almost screwed up.
Oh, don't do that.
Almost.
Don't do that. I can remember screwing up working the stage, I blew the head off of Big from Big and Rich. He's doing an acoustic set.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pay attention when he unplugs. He's got two 15s in front of him,
Yeah.
giving him his sound.
Right.
Right, and they're up. And I'm in charge of monitors. I daydreamed for a split second. He unplugged. He got the click. He was not
No.
happy at
No.
all.
No. That's
Never forget that moment.
no. It's, man, and it's never, dude. It's just like driving a car. The second you stop paying attention is when somebody in front. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I learned it. I ride bicycles. I ride on the road. I've ridden bicycles on the road for 30 years.
I got the bicycle for you.
Wow, no, don't tell me that. I don't need it anymore. But you assume
one.
everyone that you see is going to do the worst
They're gonna
possible
kill you.
thing at the worst possible time. Where's your bailout?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if this, and you learn with parallel, you learn to look for heads in cars too, because if those doors, yeah.
Yeah, I always paid attention to this to see if they're watching.
It's so much scarier now than it was when I was a kid, because now, cell phones, man.
Yeah, one of the reasons I quit riding like motorcycle,
Yeah,
a guy run so close to me I could knock on his window and almost drive me off the road.
yeah. And I rode a bike for a year when I was in school, and even my dumb heathen ass, after a year, I said, this doesn't need to be. I need to get rid of this. I went down.
I got the one you need. I built one.
A bicycle?
Well, it's motorized. It's more of a moped.
See, that's the new thing. And they're expensive as shit.
Oh, yeah.
The battery-powered pedal assist bicycles.
Yeah,
And people are like, well, these are good. No, those are mopeds, dude.
No, I had to have my license and title.
Yeah.
It was capable of 40 mile an hour.
No.
No, I loved it.
That's a moped.
150 miles a gallon.
Oh no, I know. I remember that part was cool. But it wasn't cool getting run off the road.
No, it's not.
I sold it. I got on it one night, and girl's house was here. Driveway came around, but if you went straight out of the back of the driveway, you went through the backyard, back out to the road. I'm going that way. The grass was wet. I gunned it. I remember the right handlebar hit me in the face. I had a full helmet. No, I wore a full helmet. It hit me in the face. I went down. I'm sliding through this girl's wet yard on my ass.
Taking a shower.
It's just, and I'm watching the bike on its side going across the yard. I'm like, well, that's a sign from God. And I got on it and rode it home at about 20 miles an hour and
That was the end of it.
sold it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a great bike. From 0 to 60, it would run with anything. And then the fourth, it was a 2-cylinder. You remember the old Yamaha, the old Kenny Roberts Cafe Racer?
Yeah.
Dude, get your shit killed in a heartbeat on that. From 0 to under a bumper, like that.
0 to under a bumper. I have
That's
to
right.
remember that one, man.
Wow. And the other thing about it, between about 92 and 98 miles an hour, that little Tupperware fairing on the front, you'd have to stick your head in it, otherwise the bike would start coming up. It was light on the front end. If you were laid back on it, you could feel
Lift it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now once you got above 100, it settled back in. But yeah, from mid 90s.
Poor aerodynamics.
Yeah. I mean, it was just 2-stroke 350, and from 0 to 60, because the FZRs had just started getting big.
Okay.
From 0 to 60, it run with those. From about 6, they've gone. Like, fucking chainsaw.
I love that. I love it.
I got the wrong one though. I didn't get the black and yellow, the yellow with the black trim. I didn't get that one. I got the red, white, and blue one. They didn't have the black and yellow one.
There's another one I missed. I had 3 Triumphs. Oh.
Buddy of mine rode a Triumph for a while, and then he got a BSA.
That's another one I would love to have.
It was
Or a
backwards.
Victor.
It was
Victor.
backwards.
Victor.
Yeah. This old BSA was like a 60s BSA, and it was backwards. And I got on it once. I'm like, oh hell, that's not a clutch.
British, man.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's wrong.
But he was, and that was before the internet. He spent half his waking hours looking for parts for that thing, because it was like mid to late 60s, mid like 350, 400, whatever their thing was, and it sounded like no other bike.
I regret selling my blue Triumph. I sold it to a guy. He finished it beautiful. I sold my red Triumph to another guy who finished it beautiful. I was good at riding them, taking them apart.
Yeah.
To redo
That would
them,
make
and-
me happy. It ended up in a good place.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. I'll come back and reset about the show after I hiccup, and then we'll just start talking. Maybe do one more segment, or if we get to hooting and hollering, acting like heathens.
Tired of actually being that.
Huh?
I think we're both tired of actually being those people. I wouldn't say tired of it. It's still fun.
It got exhausting.
Yeah, it does.
I got tired. It's just like,
Living on alcohol, cigarettes, and M&Ms doesn't work.
I stopped drinking 7 or 8 years ago, but there was no motivation. It wasn't some big moment. Hang on, here we go. It's Gary Snair, my guest on Teleforum. Gary Snair of GNU's Bodyworks, and we're talking about cars. Duh, because you ain't going to get us together and not have that happen. But we're talking about this weekend, Sunday, the Heathens Car Show. It's a car show and it's a motorcycle show, and it's going on in Conway, and it's helping, you said, Project Hope,
Yes,
and
sir.
that means you can donate financially. And the people that are going to show up and be in the car show, you expect a little bit of a donation
I hope they bring something.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do that. You can bring canned goods, anything that you would donate, and you can help out. How did cars stick with you?
how did they stick with?
How did they stick with you? Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of kids like me as a teenager, cars were cool.
Yeah.
But then cars became a utilitarian necessity.
Okay.
I can appreciate looking at them, but it's not my life's work like it's your life's work.
I'll put it this way: I was doomed from the get.
How so?
Okay. My uncle Tim raced dirt bikes. My
Okay.
uncle Tim also raced in the dirt circles with sprint cars and modifieds.
All right.
Okay, I was always at a racetrack with him on weekends, which was a fantastic way to grow up. My uncle Jim drag raced. Okay.
Okay. No wonder they called you and your buddies all heathens. They
Oh
were
yeah.
track rats.
My uncle Millard, he mostly just drove like big luxury cars because he's a big guy. So
Well, but back in the day, that's how you showed you made it, man.
yeah,
Buick Electric, deuce and a quarter, and things
he
like
had
that.
He had a 4-door Newport that was as big as an aircraft carrier. I mean,
Yeah.
F-14s took off on the hood and helicopters landed on the deck lid.
No exaggeration. You could lay down in the back. A grown-up could lay down in the back seat and not touch either back door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle Dave was a biker. I can always remember working on motorcycles with him.
Mm-hmm.
I do engine work with my uncle Jim on weekends sometimes, or body work, which is what I do professionally now. My mom, this is a good story. So I was about 10. My mom buys a brand new Chevelle.
Okay.
Okay.
That's pretty cool for a mom car.
Well, it didn't start out as a Chevelle.
Okay. Wait a minute.
It
What?
started out as a Malibu. So she
Mhm.
goes, orders the car, calls the dealership back. Hey, we have a boat we're going to tow. I need a bigger motor.
Yeah.
What's the bigger motor you offer? Lady, it's 454. Okay, put it in it. And she calls him back. Hey, you know, you got to make sure that's got a posi rear end. I want to be able to be sure I can pull this.
Wait. I want to make sure I understand. So this is a Malibu that your mom's tricking out part by part?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so and then
Who
it's
buys a car and says, I don't like that motor, put a motor in?
she does.
No wonder you ended up the way you ended up.
Right. So I'm
Uh-huh.
not this is so then it was the rear end, and you know what, I'd really like to have bucket seats. Well, lady, that's an SS. Okay, we can give you the 4-speed,
Right?
the 454, the posi traction rear end, and the SS version. Okay, that's fine. It's going to cost more. She's like, I don't care.
That's what I want.
Okay, right. Gets the car. Now, there was a speed shop over in Brighton. Oh, what the heck was his name? Anyway, gets the car brand new, goes over to the speed shop. She orders all kinds of stuff for this car. Boom, go back home. She goes out one day, comes back with all these parts. I sat on the steps as a 10-year-old, watched my mom pull the whole top of the motor off, new camshaft, intake, headers, four-barrel carb, chrome Kragers, 10-inch wide rears on nice big fat meaty tires.
Chrome Kragers, the 5-spoke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
On traditional 5-spoke.
That's
the way
right,
to
man.
go, right?
If you're gonna put Craigs on there, yeah.
So I watch her. She took all the emissions bull crap off of this thing, threw it in the corner. Next thing I know, she's got it running out in the street, and every time that camshaft would come around, the car would chirp the tires. So I was doomed.
So she's not even trying to chirp them. It's just hey,
doing it.
We overbuilt it.
Yeah,
At 10 years old, did you not have the coolest mom in the history of that neighborhood?
Oh yeah.
That she's literally buying a car and saying, "Nah, it's not enough. Trick it out."
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
So this was where you were supposed to end up.
I don't know. I think it's kind of like almost like a brainwashing.
If it's what you know, it's what you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's a skill set that fewer and fewer. Let me ask you this: as a professional, as a business owner, and as somebody that does a mechanical job, how difficult is it to find help? Okay, so what we hear is true. There aren't enough people that can do it doing it.
Guys need to go and look into the trades. I don't care, guys, girls, look into the trades. We need you.
What do you need? You need a mechanic. You need
I don't
anybody
do mechanical.
Fabricators.
Anybody with skills and a desire to take something broken and repair it. That's what we need in like my field. But the trades are starving for good people. People don't want to work. You know, I see it every day. I've had guys come into my garage. Hey, man, I'm looking for a job, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell right off the gate how enthusiastic they are. They just want to get the job for a couple of days and then jet. And I've even had that happen.
What's the point of that?
Just so they get a few bucks and run.
So they
Or
literally
they find out that it's actual work and takes skill and time and patience. And then they're like, I don't like this. This is, you know,
This is work?
A job. It's a job. Yeah.
Do you think society kind of frowned on working with our hands for long enough that now we're seeing the repercussions?
For too long.
Yeah.
For too long. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up, most of my family, if they weren't racing or fixing a car, they were working in the steel mills, and I got that in me. You know, it's you get up, you go to work, you do your job,
Right.
you go home.
How different was it becoming the boss? Because that attitude that you just described that's perfect for having a job where you go and you clock in and you do your work and you go home.
It's worse.
Being the boss and
you don't
owning
open your
Gnu's
own-
Body
you don't
Works.
open your own business and like not have it own you at times. It's like a role reversal.
Does it take away from the love side of it,
No,
or is
not
it
for
just
me.
no?
Not for me one bit. I mean, I still love it whether I'm working on a brand new car, although I don't care to work on the newer cars.
Why?
But people need their transportation, and that's why.
Why don't you like working? Given the choice, you'd rather work on an old car than a new. Why?
Give me like a 1980 Datsun 280ZX to work on and bring that sucker back to life. That's my passion.
Is that the thrill when you turn it over and it finally turns over and sounds right, and it's literally resurrecting a part of automotive history?
Yes,
when you're
exactly.
talking about
That nails it. You just nailed it perfectly. Yeah. I like to save the history. I mean, my own personal car, I got a 32 Chevy. When I found it, the wife goes, I will not ride in that.
now, okay, tell me the truth. She's not listening. Did not motivate you a little bit to consider buying it more?
No.
No? Okay,
No,
all right.
I saw one picture of that car and knew it was going
Is
to
that it? My wife said, I'm not riding in it. I'd have tried to buy two. Right? What was it about that car? Just the lines?
I like that gangster look.
Yeah.
My
It's one of the
uncle-
clubs called the Heathens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. That's beside the point. I just
Yeah.
like big full fendered cars, you know.
Mm.
Primitive. That's about as primitive as you get, unless you go back earlier to like the 05 vehicles, and that's primitive.
What's the oldest vehicle that you've ever got back up and running?
1926 Packard.
When it came in, what was wrong with it? Aside
Everything.
from being 80, 90, 100 years old.
Everything was wrong with it.
Well, not everything was.
Oh, yes, everything was wrong.
Did you have to replace the block?
No, the customer had the engine done,
Uh-huh.
and we built the entire chassis, and then we had to have a carpenter come in
The carpenter. Yeah.
to make the cab, which is your passenger compartment.
Yeah.
They were built like carriages back then.
Yeah. Like a Morgan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he come in and he built the cab from what little wood there was left to use as patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I'm hanging body panels on the wood, and can honestly say it was the first time I hung like a quarter panel with 32 screws and 56 nails. But it's all hand hammered aluminum. So if you don't like the way something's fitting, you take it off, you work that metal a little bit more, put it right back on the car, or you work the frame of the body.
When you're doing
Yeah,
that,
sit
is that when is that when you make the jump from craftsman to artist? When you're talking about hand working soft metal for form.
Some people would say that.
Yeah.
How you do it, but for me, I enjoy it. It's a way in and out of your head. You do this, it'll do one thing. You do that, it'll do another. I mean, I've been taught by more old body men than enough.
So you actually, if somebody says, "What's an English wheel?"
I know how to use it.
You know how to use an English wheel.
Yeah. I don't have the room in my garage, so I made my own, a very small one.
You're making your own English wheel.
Yeah.
For people that don't know what it is, when you see a picture of a guy with a big hunk of metal between two things and he's rolling it back and forth, that's
You're
what that is.
Putting crown in the steel.
Yeah, you're actually shaping metal.
Yeah, that's great.
Is there a favorite part when you get a car? Is there a favorite part? I would guess the least favorite part is chasing wires, running electric.
No, I like the wire too.
Do you really?
I love it.
No, but what nobody
Wires
likes
like water.
that.
It's gonna go where it's gonna go.
Okay.
That's my son. I'm trying to teach him better on wiring, and he's like, I don't get it how they can do this and how it can do that. I'm like, well, electrical, it will find a path whether you want it to or not. You just have to find that point where it's making the path that it's not supposed to do.
You have to play nice with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't play nice with it,
12 volt don't bite you too hard.
No, that's an attention getter.
No, an attention getter is grabbing hold of a distributor with bag plug wires, and it's hitting at about 20,000 volts. That'll wake you up.
I think you just described why I did not go into auto shop. Last question about cars. Worst car ever made?
Yugo.
The Yugo.
Yeah, Yugo.
Oh, come on. 3 bolts won't hold a wheel on?
Brother, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I had years ago when me and one of my other buddies had tried starting a body shop. His girlfriend had a Yugo.
Okay.
We would fix it every 2 weeks.
Was it at least easy to fix?
No.
For people that don't remember, that was the car. It was a shoebox and ugly, and it was made in Yugoslavia.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they were awful.
It made a Trabant look like a great vehicle.
Even a Gremlin, it made look like amazing.
All right, one more car question. What is the most underrated, the car that you look at and go, man, that thing was something, and nobody else really knows about it?
Almost anything Mopar in the 70s.
Why? Because it wasn't the cool stuff?
They were doing, Mopar in general was doing things that all the other auto manufacturers were afraid to do. Like same thing they do now.
What were they doing different? Were they about the performance and the car guy version rather than the functionality and cost per unit thing?
Well, we like to put it like this: if you got an engineer who's looking at, okay, there's a 426 Hemi.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what to do with it. We have a car the size of, say, that Barracuda there.
Okay.
Stick it in it. Let them figure it out.
So just drop it in there, and then we'll hook stuff up the way we hook stuff up. And if we have to bend it, we'll bend it. And if it gets real weird, maybe we consider turning the block and rearranging it. So they said, let's do this just and make it work. Yeah, let's not study.
Go for it attitude.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anything Chrysler. A lot of people don't, give them props for what they were doing. They basically set the bar for what happened in the 70s.
All right, what's the most over? See, every time you answer a question, I got one more question. Gary Snair of Gnew's Bodyworks is my guest. The Heathens Car and Motorcycle Show is going on Sunday in Conway. We've been talking about that. Most overrated car. When somebody says, "Ooh, I love the Corvette," do you cringe?
That's a personal thing.
Did I cut too deep with you?
No, I appreciate a Corvette.
Okay, you can
Okay.
appreciate the art, what it is.
Yes,
it
I
was
appreciate it for what it is, but I personally wouldn't own one.
All right.
Okay, what I think the one vehicle that General Motors built but did not build enough to go into production, they were basically a factory-built race car, was a Cheetah. It was a 327 powered full tube chassis aluminum bodied car built and designed to compete with the Europeans.
Okay, I've heard now. I know that this was that's what a Cobra was about, but I didn't know they did that with the Cheetah.
It was also a direct result of the Cobra.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Cobra was the one who was the chicken farmer. I can't think of the guy's name. It was his pet project, and he wanted to go over and win Le Mans.
I'm going to say Carroll Shelby.
It is Carroll Shelby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Carroll Shelby.
The pet project. He wanted to go over there and whip the Europeans.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. The Cobra is actually it was an AC, which is a British build.
Right.
And he just stuck a 427 Ford in it. Well, when a car weighs 1,200 pounds with its original motor in it, you take that out, now it weighs
nothing,
and you stick in 426 cubic inches, making big power. It gets real fun.
So what you're telling me is it's about power and weight, and it's not about cool stickers on the side of the car.
Exactly. Performance.
You're
Performance or what you want out of your ride. Especially for me, it's like my Chevy.
Okay.
There's a whole myriad of directions I could have gone with it, but I wanted a car that was drivable, that I could rely on, get in and turn the key any second of the day, and it would go. Same thing with my Wrecker. My Wrecker, I built it with.
I love your Wrecker.
It with the sole intention of I am going to drive the wheels off of you and enjoy every second of it.
Is that what a retro mod is? You're talking about your 32? I'm assuming
my 32 is a resto mod.
A resto mod.
Yes.
That means it's got current brakes and pads and sizes and everything like that.
Some current technology, but none of it's less than 50 years old.
For a car show guy, does that take away from it, or does
not for me?
Okay, because
I like to see everybody's personality coming out in their cars.
Yeah. What color is your 32?
Flat black and gray.
Of course it is. What color options were available for you growing up to be a cool car? It had to be what color?
My favorite color is a nice blue. The more to the purple side,
okay,
the more I get excited because I like a blue that's almost a blurple.
Blurple.
Yeah.
It sounds like another like a Yugoslavian car follow-up. You like the Yugo, you'll love the blurple. Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't ask you? I can talk to you about cars all day because you have forgotten more than I could ever learn. And your attitude is exactly my attitude. It can look cool from here till Sunday. It's got to be functional. I want to get in it. I want to go, and that's it.
I would argue a little bit on the functional side because my views on like lowered and chopped roof lines have affected my wife. I want a roof. I want to do like a 50 Mark one time, but I want the windows to be so low that they look like pizza ovens.
Why?
Because it's
you can't. No, it looks very cool. It's got that chopped down Munster's car kind of vibe to it.
My favorite car right there.
The Munster's mobile?
The Munster coach.
Oh, the funeral coach on the back of the Hemi. Yeah. Or no, what was it? It was a blower, wasn't it?
That car had Hillborn injection.
Oh my God! You know the specs on the Munster car.
Oh yeah, it's also a Ford motor. Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's 3 Model Ts put together. Boy, and now I'm reaching because I used to know that right off the top of my head. Yes, Barris of Barris Customs. Yeah.
Okay. I had never thought when I came into work today we were going to talk about the specs of the Munster's car. Was the Batmobile cool or was it ugly? And I've had this argument with people.
In my opinion, for what the designer did with that car, he did amazing things. He just took that GTO and just cut it to bits. Which, if you're a metal worker and you want to have a one-off car, that is what you got to do. Just cut it to bits. Don't be afraid of the saws. And he worked. Obviously, he made the car famous being in a TV show. I mean, I actually saw one of the ones that used in a TV show at a car show in Pittsburgh years and years ago when I was a kid. And I thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread, or even the Monkeys Mobile.
Same guy, I would think, wasn't it?
Yes.
I was going to say, same guy. The Monkeys Mobile was equally, what was the worst TV car? I've got my opinion, and then I'll share it, but I want to hear your opinion. You're a professional. Gary
I don't
Snair.
watch much TV, so.
Do you remember Knight Rider?
Yes.
You remember that
absolutely agree with you.
stupid car that they just put some lights in the front of it and it talked? Kit.
Yeah, I agree.
That was an insult to cars. Flintstone's car was better than
Yes. Yes.
that. Have you ever been tempted to build one? Build a Flintstone's car and just put a hidden motor somewhere in it?
How you going to steer it?
With a big round piece of wood, just like Fred steered
Yeah,
it.
it would be more like yard art. No, I have a few ideas in my head. I got one I want to build, one more I want to build.
Okay.
I've got an old Model A frame laying outside of my garage and front end from like a 50-some Chevy truck. And
It drives you nuts. You walk by and you go, that needs to be involved in something.
yeah. I got a cowl, and I'm pretty much thinking I'm going to be doing another rat rod.
Okay.
Well, I guarantee it's going to be another rat rod because shiny paint causes stress.
And not to look at, but just to buff out 35 times and
Just
keep laying
waxing it.
coats.
That's why. It's another reason why I got rid of my Buick.
Yeah.
You know, it took me 8 hours to clean the car, and I haven't even turned the key. I was kind of done with that.
Yeah, that's at that point it's diminishing returns. So
Yeah.
Gary Snair has been my guest. It's been great talking to you. Go see Gary this weekend, Sunday in Conway. It is the Heathens Car and Motorcycle Show, and it's going to go on all day and all night. Great seeing you again, man.
You as well.
Now I'm fired up. I got to get him to build me a Flintstones car.
Thanks for tuning in to Beaver County Radio, created by local people in the St.
Frank? 7:14, 8:14. Okay. My mic's cutting out. But this.
We got a problem in the plug.
Yeah, that's just it. You don't know. Well, I'm gonna guess that.
Oh, you need to take it apart and maintain it. You got a cable layer on it to swap out with?
I don't know. That's why when we were talking, literally I'd hear a sizzle, and then my mic would cut out, and that's going to put me at 57.10. That's going to put me at 58.10. 59.10 plus 30 would be. That's going to put me at 58. 59.15. 59.45. This is math in my head.
You're watching times.
That. Okay. Dude, that was excellent. That was so much more fun than talking about politics.
So much better, and I'm walking
There.
again. I'm sleeping better, and I'm walking better. I'm sleeping and feeling my feet again, and I'm walking.
When I was asking about rest of my lives, I would love to have an old pickup truck. I don't want it to have old pickup truck brakes. You know, I want it to drive. It doesn't have to be tricked out. And matter of fact, I'd just soon it not be tricked out. Because if it's tricked out, I'm going to get 8, 9, 10 miles to the gallon.
Like I said, build it for what you want to do.
The perfect, to me, 59 and then a 30. The perfect vehicle to me would be who had it, the 5-window.
Oh, Chevrolet,
The round
cameo truck.
Yeah, the round back side window, 5-window, and underneath a up-to-date motor, up-to-date brakes, not high performance, just a V6.
Like my Chevy.
Yeah,
Jump in and go anytime you want.
that's it. I want to turn the key. I want it to start, and if it doesn't, I want to open it up and look and say, "There's the
There's
problem."
the problem.
Yeah, I don't want to have to. At no point should working on a car, to me, at no point.
Require a computer.
The tablet, dude. Well, we got to plug it in.
No, dude, I got I got a tool down at the shop. $3,500 machine, well, scanner. That is $1,000 a year to update to stay current.
Just for the software update?
Yes. Okay.
Dude, that's like radio software.
So, yeah, you get when the car's telling you, hey, something's wrong with me, and I have to plug in a machine to check the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, technology is a good thing, but the amount of technology that they're stuffing into these cars nowadays is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you know, the best car I ever had, and this is going to sound ridiculous, as far as taking shit and working, I had a Pontiac Vibe, and it was the year that, it was a Toyota Matrix, different badge,
Those
right?
were kind of tough.
Dude, I put 200,000 miles on it. I beat the hell out of that
Hey,
car.
I picked up a used 2000 GMC,
Yeah.
5-speed and a V8. Had 130,000 miles on it when I got it.
Yeah.
I put another 130,000 on it before I was done with it.
Yeah.
And you could not stop this truck.
No, this little Pontiac Vibe, it was literally a Toyota Matrix, different badge. I drove the shit out of it. I remember one of the computers. I mean, I had 180,000 miles, but it was running bad, broke the dog pads. Took it in there like it's, well, you know, CPU. The fuck's that? He goes, it's a piece of plastic. It's a plastic box about the size of a pack of cigarettes. I go, okay. How much? It's like $190. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, get used to that, man.
And see, my daughter's car, she drives a Volkswagen. Dude, if that car decides it doesn't like you, it can shut everything down.
Oh yeah, go into a low power state.
And just, there's so much stuff that a wrench, it ain't gonna fix it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Oh shit. I got one for you. This is one that I shock people with regularly. Trailblazer headlight. What do you think of that headlight for a brand new Trailblazer car?
The actual headlight, not the bulb,
No,
the headlight.
the headlamp assembly.
It's gonna be over $100 easy.
You would be 10 times short of that because of the technology in a headlight. You want to really fall down? Get one for an Audi. Or an Audi or a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because Audi and Mercedes have an option in their headlights that they are not only xenon, but they track the road. Okay, first time I bought a used one for $1,700 used.
And that was something that got parted out.
And yes, and it wasn't very
Now, we've won the Best of Trustlink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
The government is pursuing a new idea to prevent drunk driving.
The National Transportation Safety Board is recommending that all new vehicles in the U.S. be required to have blood alcohol monitoring systems that can stop an intoxicated person from driving. The recommendation, if enacted by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, could reduce the number of alcohol-related crashes, one of the biggest causes of highway deaths in the U.S. A new push to make roads safer was included in a report released Tuesday about a horrific crash last year in which a drunk driver's SUV collided head-on with a pickup truck near Fresno, California, killing both adult drivers and 7 children. Keith Peters reporting.
European Parliament members investigating the use of surveillance spyware by the European Union governments sharply criticized Israel on Wednesday
And
for a lack of
they better bring a
transparency
sandwich too,
on the
dude.
sale of powerful Israeli spyware to European governments. News and analysis at townhall.com. A monument honoring our nation's first president is vandalized.
Area around the monument was closed been arrested. The cleanup of the monument will begin this morning, and it may take a while since officials say several treatments may be needed to remove all the paint. The Washington Monument was the tallest building in the world when it was built in 1884. Keisha Stevens reporting.
A former Minneapolis police officer who pleaded guilty to a state charge of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter in the killing of George Floyd was sentenced to 3 years. Thomas Lane is already serving a 2.5-year federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights. Prosecutors and Lane's attorneys previously agreed to a recommended state sentence of 3 years. Prosecutors agreed.
You told me, but
serving
you never did
the
anything
same
else.
time as his federal sentence.
Good, they found it.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBBP, 1460
Why you ain't going in?
WMBA,
I see you
and
in.
streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Well, that was
Here's
2
Mike
hours for
Sparks.
kids show that worked out.
And good morning on this last day of summer, Wednesday, September the 21st of 2022. Today's forecast is calling for a chance of showers with a high of 83 degrees. Well, we complete Beaver County Radio with a forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. An Ohioville man escaped injury yesterday afternoon as a tire exploded. He was attempting to take off the rim. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano says Ohioville Assistant Police Chief Eric Kane reported that police and firefighters were dispatched to 345 Lisbon Road yesterday afternoon at 12:25 p.m. Upon arriving, they discovered that the resident was attempting to remove a tire from its frame. The tire exploded, causing severe damage to the garage in which he was in. The resident declined medical attention for some scratches, the assistant chief reported. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano is reporting that Sheldon Jeter Jr. was not at yesterday's proceedings and remains in jail on his first-degree murder conviction for the murder of his friend Tyreek Pugh on the night of May the 15th of 2020. 2 lawyers did appear yesterday before 3 Superior Court judges, and all that was accomplished were arguments on case law. The only issue raised was a juror in the sentencing who was biased in the 2021 first-degree murder conviction. It was found that there was no bias, according to Giordano. Center Township Board of Supervisors met and are looking at a new system to digitize maps and documents at their meeting on Monday night. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano has more.
Center Township Board of Supervisors met Monday night and authorized the Township Secretary, Rachel Del Pondo, to look into the cost to digitize documents and maps. The new system would save space, Township Chairman Bill DeCiccio said. The supervisors received an update from Township Engineer Ned Mitrovich on the road work being done behind the Beaver Valley Mall. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
Pennsylvania State Representative Aaron Bernstein's bill, named the Markey's Law, has made its way to Governor Tom Wolf's desk to possibly be signed. The bill was named after Markey Mason, an 8-year-old boy who was brutally stabbed to death by a man who was paroled at the end of his minimum sentence for homicide, even after committing 2 separate assaults of other inmates while in prison. The bill would postpone consideration of a violent inmate's parole an additional 24 months following the inmate's minimum release date for each conviction of a violent offense while incarcerated. In addition, it would suspend consideration of an inmate's parole an additional 12 months if the inmate attempts to escape, smuggles contraband, or retaliates or intimidates witnesses while incarcerated. Bernstein said via release that Markey's Law would hold inmates accountable for their actions while they are incarcerated. There's no word on whether Governor Tom Wolf intends on signing the bill into law. Authorities have identified 4 of the people who were killed in a farmhouse fire near Fredonia in Mercer County around midnight last Thursday. Mercer County coroner identified the dead as 33-year-old Elizabeth Seltzer and her 3 children, 6-year-old Paisley, 3-year-old Ansley, and 1-year-old Jordan. The victims were all identified through dental and medical records. A 5th person who is yet to be identified was also found inside the farmhouse. The cause and manner of death haven't been determined yet. State police and fire marshal are investigating the cause of the blaze. A Pennsylvania prosecutor has announced charges in juvenile court against 10 students in connection with alleged hazing of high school football players that prompted cancellation of the team's season. Dauphin County prosecutors said yesterday that 2 Middletown players will face attempted sexual assault charges and 8 others face other counts in connection with hazing that authorities said targeted at least 6 players from ages 14 to 17. The head football coach resigned within days of his cell phone video surfacing. School officials last month said that they had decided to cancel the football season after finding out about a second video and the involvement of more players.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3
No, I'm talking
FM,
personality
along with
skill set. You have a
1230
skill set that is
WBBP,
valuable.
1460 WMBA,
It's not
and
about
streaming
you
at beavercountyradio.com.
always the
A chance of
safety
showers
first.
today with a high of
You
83
were
degrees.
perfectly willing
Showers
to
and
say,
thunderstorms
I'm not
likely
sure
mainly
what
between
you
8 p.m. and
and
midnight
other
tonight.
people.
Otherwise, mostly
That's
cloudy overnight,
dope,
low down to
dude.
59.
Those two skill
For your
sets.
first day of autumn tomorrow,
The radio
showers
shit
and
that you
thunderstorms.
might or might
High's
not
only
know.
going to be 68 degrees.
I can teach
Friday,
that to
sunny,
fucking monkeys.
high of 64. And then
The
Saturday,
shit
mostly
that
sunny
you
with a
do
high of
ain't
69.
teachable shit.
Temperature-wise, will rebound on Sunday with a high
And
of
don't think I'm being
75
nice to you.
degrees.
Kiss my ass, you suck. But
That is
there
it
you
for now. I'm Frank Sparks.
all better.
News, 95.7 and 99.3
This
FM.
hour brought to you by
1460
something.
WNBA, BeaverCountyRadio.com, all presented by St. Barnabas. It's more than places, it's a purpose.
It's
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBBP, 1460
I'm missing high school football
99.3 FM, and
promo.
BeaverCountyRadio.com. And
Yeah, I
now
got no
here's
high
the
school
host
football
of the
promos
show,
that's
Eddie
scheduled.
Pro.
All right. Teleforum, it's hour number 3. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. Well, I'm always honest with you, but I want to share something with you there. Make it more personable. We're one day away from autumn. Autumn is tomorrow, the 22nd. It makes today the 21st. I came in this morning like I come in every morning, just like you do too, going to work. And I suspect you do the same thing I do. You think, okay, what's going on today? What have I got happening today? How today gonna go? And you do that too. You look and you say, who am I dealing with today? Do I like dealing with them, or are they a pain in the tuchus? And I knew coming in I was going to be talking to Dale Reckless of MRS Physical Therapy, and I love talking to Dale. And I knew the fact that I was talking to Dale meant that he was going to have me doing goofy stuff. And if you were watching the first hour on the Facebook live stream, 2 things. 1, I did a lot of goofy stuff. 2, it's been deemed that I am not a fall risk. That's what Dale and I were talking about, fall risk and fall prevention. This is the week to talk about it. That's why MRS is offering free screenings for it. Talk about falling. It's the week fall starts. And it was a very enjoyable hour, like I suspected. And I knew I was talking to Gary. Gary Snair was my guest last hour of Canoe's Body Shop, or Bodyworks. And I knew we were talking about the car show this weekend. It's Sunday. It's the Heathens Car and Motorcycle Show. Any and everything that they raised helps out Project Hope. Non-perishable foods. Bring canned goods, like Gary said. You can, cash, check, all that's great. If you show up and want to be in the show, a little something would be nice. It all benefits Project Hope in Conway, and that's where the show is. At the Conway BFW and Gross Street. So driving in this morning, I thought, first couple hours would be pretty good. I had no idea I was going to be laughing that much. No clue. So for the 3rd hour, okay, back to reality. Well, reality is overrated, as some people say. And I told you, I'm going to say it again because I was correct. Careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for. This has happened. This is Careful What You Wish For Part 3, at least, with the Trump administration, or with the former president's lawyers. Careful what you wish for. Let everything be known. Okay, they did it. More questions came up. We want a special master. Okay. We did it. The special master already has issues. And I'll bet you dollars to donuts. At some point, somebody from the Trump legal staff is going to say, I don't know if we like this guy. Raymond Deary told the lawyers, quote, you can't have your cake and eat it because of classified documents. That's the specifics of and we can get into the specifics. It doesn't really matter. What matters is careful what you wish for. Deary's job as the independent arbiter, which doesn't sound nearly as cool as special master, his job is inspecting documents and sorting out what might be client-lawyer privilege versus what might be security for the country. He said yesterday he intends to push briskly through the review process and appeared skeptical of the lawyers' reluctance to say whether they believed whether or not that the records had been declassified. Quote, we're going to proceed with what I call responsible dispatch. The purpose of the meeting was to sort out the next steps in the review process. They're having meetings about meetings and there's already problems with it. This is going to be worse at every turn. Deary said that if the president's lawyers will not actually assert that the records have been declassified and the Department of Justice makes an acceptable case that they remain classified, he's inclined to regard them as classified, and I quote, which makes sense, and I quote, as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of it. If you won't say they is, and they're saying they ain't, I'm going with they ain't. In a letter to Deary on Monday night, the lawyer said the declassification issue might be a part of the Trump's defense in the event of an indictment. Lawyers said Trump's team should not be forced at this point to disclose details of a possible defense. He denied that the lawyers were trying to do gamesmanship. Careful what you wish for. Sometimes I just think, man, did you not think ahead? But then I see stories where people are being told it's not safe to cook chicken in NyQuil, and I think this is not an intellectual crew we're dealing with when we're talking about humanity. Yes, that's a true story. They have to issue a statement saying don't cook your chicken in NyQuil. Breading it in Pepto-Bismol and deep frying it is delicious, however. 724-843-1888 or 774-1888 if you'd like to call Teleforum. Hi, what's your name? What's up, Mike? I think delay is a viable option, but I don't get the impression that this guy is going to let you turn your homework in late. I think the next thing that here's the blunt truth, Mike. If you're in trouble and delaying it gets you out of trouble, that's a viable option. Yeah, that's one of the things that you're going to do. But this just got more problematic because remember, this is the guy, Judge Deary, that both sides agreed on. And the first interaction between the former president's lawyers and the guy that they agreed on, that's not good. That's not, that's bad. If you got the teacher that you really like and the first day homework's due, you don't have the homework due, that's bad. Judge Raymond Deary told the lawyers, you can't have your cake and eat it. Anytime I've been told that, it's been bad. Hi, thank you for calling Teleforum. What's your name? Hi, Deborah. I'm fine. How are you, dear? Yes, ma'am. You saw me. Why would you put yourself through that? Where did you see me? Where was I at? Oh, you're talking about on the live stream with Dave. I thought you meant you saw me wandering aimlessly down the street or something. Yes, for the people that didn't see or hear this morning, I was put through a series of tests by Dale Reckless of MRS Physical Therapy to determine whether or not I was a fall risk. And after all of the tests, I'm not a fall risk. I'm a flight risk, but I'm not a fall risk. Yeah, well, go see Dale. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, had you not ever seen me before, Deborah? Because there's videos and stuff. Yeah. Did you find me as dreamy as I hope you found me? So that's a no. Okay. A good personality, lots of fun at parties. It's what's on the inside that matters, right? That's right. Dale's great. Dale is tremendous, and I've told him this off the air. And if you've watched, like Deborah, you watched him this morning. Yeah, he's a great physical therapist. He could be a college instructor, no problem. No problem, because when he does those demos, go ahead. And he does a really good job of that too. It's really easy once a camera's in the room to play to the camera, and when you play to the camera, what you say, you're saying with the assumption that people are seeing it. It's not as easy as Dale makes it sound to talk about something that you're getting visual, and remember to talk about something for the people that are listening on the radio, not getting the visual. That's a very rare skill set that he employs, and he's very good at it. You can watch him and get it, or you can listen and still get it. I don't know if you caught it this morning. Dale complimented the strength of my buttocks. Did you hear that? Yeah. Wasn't quite sure how to take that, but live and let live, and I'll just move on and take it as a compliment. You too. So I got that going for me. If nothing else goes good the rest of the day, my buttocks are strong buttocks. Proud.
Is proud of releasing a record number of felons from prison early. He said it himself, more than, quote, any administration in history. Fetterman's bragging about freeing more thugs serving life sentences than in the previous 25 years combined, making our streets less safe while violent crime is rising. Fetterman is even pushing to end life sentences for felony murder. Just listen to him talk about it.
The first way, I believe, to change it, and that is eliminating the felony murder law. Eliminating the felony murder law.
That's John Fetterman proclaiming he wants to eliminate the felony murder law. And Fetterman's proudly releasing record numbers of dangerous criminals. That's crazy.
Dangerous criminal.
Left John Fetterman. Senate leadership fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Join Beaver County Radio this Saturday at the second annual Recovery Walk. The big event is sponsored by Beaver County Drug Abuse Coalition and is being held on the walking track section of Brady's Run Park. Look for the Beaver County Radio Prize Caddy on site from 11 to 2. It's happening this Saturday, September 24th. Prize giveaways include Steelers and Penguins tickets, an autographed picture of Cam Hayward, plus there will be food trucks, a rock climbing wall, and live entertainment. The festivities start at 11 with a live Beaver County Radio broadcast. Don't miss it.
While serving in Afghanistan, I was hit by sniper fire. The fighting was so intense, the medevac chopper was barely able to land. In the hospital, I was given a 5% chance to live. It's a good thing math wasn't my best subject. Today, I visit classrooms and share my story. I talk to kids about dealing with life's struggles. I tell them, with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
I know that some struggles are big and some are small, but they're all struggles, and you have to learn to get through them. With support from DAV, more veterans like me can live their best life. And as a new father, I have one more reason to keep on keeping on. My victory is being there for the next generation.
Adam Alexander, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
It's the sound of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, WBBP, WNBA. Points.
I was just taking a look. Right now in downtown Beaver Falls, it's cloudy and the rain's not here yet. It's on its way right now. Partly cloudy and 69 in downtown Beaver Falls. Showers are showing up, and the latest projection is afternoon rush hour. They're going to show up, and they could get kind of gnarly. The low tonight is 59. It's a cold front. It's a big cold front. The high tomorrow is 68. The high Friday is only 64. It's 75 right now in downtown Beaver Falls, and it's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio, presented by St. Barnabas. It's more than places. It's a purpose. It's Frank Sparks with news next.
Beaver County High School football has always been known as the best high school football around, and again this year, everybody around the world will get a peek at the action as Beaver County Radio will have a live online video stream for all the games aired on WBBPN 99.3 FM. That's right, you can watch the WBB Game of the Week on Trib Live and Facebook Live. This Friday night, tune in for Freedom at Riverside on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBBP, Facebook and VCR audio and video streams of the Trib Live High School Sports Network on 95.7 FM, 1460 WMBA, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. West Allegheny travels to Aliquippa. Both games will be a 6:30 airtime, and kickoff is set for 7 p.m. for both games. High school football coverage is brought to you in part by Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, the Beaver County Career Technology Center, CCBC, Electric Garage Door Sales, and Falcone's Moon Township Board, among others, right here on Beaver County Radio. Do you need help paying your Medicare
Damn
prescription
it.
costs? If your annual income is under $20,388 for an individual or $27,468 for a couple, you may qualify for Extra Help. Extra Help assists with paying for your plan premium and lowers out-of-pocket pharmacy costs for prescription medication. For more information, call the Pennsylvania Medicare Education and Decision Insight, PA 724-847-2262. Supported by a grant from the Administration for Community Living.
Hey, it's time to wake up, Beaver Valley. Hi, this is Pastor David Grove from the Church of the Redeemed of Beaver Valley. After over 2 years on the air, it seems that some of you still cannot get up in time. So I've got good news. Wake Up Beaver Valley is moving to a new time, now airing from 9 to 10, this and every Saturday morning. It's time to wake up and turn our hearts back to the cross of Jesus Christ. So I invite you to wake up early this Saturday. To find out more, it's Wake Up Beaver Valley, Saturdays from 9 until 10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio. God bless you.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBBP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning on this last day of summer, Wednesday, September the 21st of 2022. Today's forecast is calling for a chance of showers with a high of 83 degrees. Well, we complete Beaver County Radio with a forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. An Ohioville man escaped injury yesterday afternoon as a tire exploded. He was attempting to take off the rim. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano says Ohioville Assistant Police Chief Eric Kane reported that police and firefighters were dispatched to 345 Lisbon Road yesterday afternoon at 12:25 p.m. Upon arriving, they discovered that the resident was attempting to remove a tire from its frame. The tire exploded, causing severe damage to the garage in which he was in. The resident declined medical attention for some scratches, the assistant chief reported. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano is reporting that Sheldon Jeter Jr. was not at yesterday's proceedings and remains in jail on his first-degree murder conviction for the murder of his friend Tyree Pugh on the night of May the 15th of 2020. Two lawyers did appear yesterday before three Superior Court judges, and all that was accomplished were arguments on case law. The only issue raised was a juror in the sentencing who was biased in the 2021 first-degree murder conviction. It was found that there was no bias, according to Giordano. 53-year-old Kenneth Grayson of Bridgeville pleaded guilty yesterday to a felony charge for his actions during the breach of the U.S. Capitol on January the 6th of 2021. He was charged with interfering with a law enforcement officer during a civil disorder. According to court documents, Grayson attended a rally at the Ellipse on January the 6th of 2021 and then walked towards the Capitol where he illegally entered the grounds. He then approached the Capitol building where law enforcement officers were attempting to prevent people from entering. He entered the Capitol through the Senate wing doors and proceeded to the crypt. He also entered the rotunda area where a mob of rioters began standing in front of a row of law enforcement officers. That mob began pushing against officers to gain access to the adjoining hall. Grayson joined at the rear of this group that began pushing into the officers. While inside the Capitol, he also live streamed the video on his Facebook account. He was arrested in Bridgeville on January the 26th of 2021. He's to be sentenced on December the 19th of this year. Faces a statutory maximum of 5 years of prison and potential financial penalties. Federal District Court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. Acting Secretary of State Lee M. Chapman marked National Voter Registration Day yesterday by reminding Pennsylvanians that the deadline to register to vote in the November election is October the 24th, and by visiting 3 college campuses to encourage students to register to vote. She says that it's important to make sure that young people are engaged.
It's really important that we are engaging young people in particular with the civic engagement process. You know, there are a lot of young people who are eligible to vote but still unregistered. So that's why I wanted to focus on colleges today. There's around 1.7 eligible but unregistered voters in Pennsylvania. To drill down specifically with young voters, it's hard to find that data. But one thing that we do know through third parties, Tufts Circle, for instance, they've already done some analysis on Pennsylvania, and we're lagging when it comes to voter registration from 2018. So it's really important that we are making sure that we're meeting voters where they are. So we're really trying to engage everyone, you know, urban, rural, throughout the electorate in Pennsylvania.
Chapman discussed how to register to vote with students during her visits, some of whom will be voting for the first time in the November 8th election. That audio is courtesy of PA Commonwealth Media Services. The U.S. Federal Reserve is expected to raise its key short-term rate by a substantial 3/4 of a point for the third consecutive time. Many Fed watchers will be paying particular attention to Chairman Jerome Powell's remarks at a news conference afterward. When Powell spoke at an economic conference in Jackson Hole, Wyoming last month, he issued a blunt warning. He said the Fed's drive to curb inflation by aggressively raising interest rates would bring some pain for Americans.
This is the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBBP, 1460 WNBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
A chance of showers today with a high of 83 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms likely mainly between 8 p.m. and midnight tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy overnight, low down to 59 degrees. For your first day of autumn tomorrow, chance of showers and thunderstorms, high's only going to be 60 degrees. Friday, sunny, high of 64. And then Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 69. Temperature-wise, will rebound on Sunday with a high of 75, but there is a chance of afternoon showers. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 93 FM, 1230 WBBP, 1460 WNBA, BeaverCountyRadio.com, all presented by St. Barnabas. It's more than places, it's a purpose.
Where the listeners of Beaver County have a voice. Teleforum with Eddy Crow, 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888.
Getting there. It went quick today. I mean, it could still turn into heck in a handbasket in the last 25 minutes before noon, but the first 2 hours went quick. It's Teleforum. My name is Eddy Crow. Rain's a coming, storms a coming. Going to be cooler tomorrow. 724-843-1888 or 774-1888. I didn't make it up. I wish I had made it up. I like the idea of being able to come up with just utterly ridiculous things once in a while. It's fun, but I didn't make it up. Officials have had to issue a warning telling people don't cook chicken in NyQuil. I don't know, man. If you're that dumb, I should feel bad if something goes wrong. But I'll be honest, I'm probably not gonna. People say, who's stupid enough to cook chicken in NyQuil? I don't know. Who's stupid enough to eat Tide Pods? I have believed for a long time that we, as a species of creature, are no more or less stupid than we ever were, but we're just more aware of the outlandish examples because of social media, because of the internet. The idiocy was already there. It's just now the idiocy has a venue. And the more I see stories like NyQuil cooked chicken, I'm starting to doubt my theory. I'm starting to think, maybe there are more stupid. Maybe it is. Maybe now, because as stupid as I was as a kid, and I knew some stupid people. I was an idiot. I'll be the first to admit that to you. Nobody is going to go, we take cough medicine and we cook chicken. The dumbest people that I ran around with wouldn't have come up with that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the same level of stupid with greater access to venues. Maybe it is, in fact, more stupid. 724-843-1888 or 774-1888. Since the special master has been appointed, there's been one interaction between him and the lawyers for Donald Trump. It is going poorly. And it's also a big deal right now. Letitia James is the Attorney General for New York. It was announced that she was going to make a major announcement at 11:30. Okay, you're announcing the announcement? Kind of pressing, aren't you? Hi, thank you for calling Teleforum. Who is this? What's up, Bill? How are you? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a little bit different than usual, and it's been nice, and I got to do some exercising. And Barbara, was it? The lady that called before, I'm drawing a blank on the name, said in the nicest possible way that I've got a face for radio, so we're working through it. We're working through it. Deborah, not Barbara. There we go. Deborah, I saw you. Yeah, how'd I look? I like listening to you, yeah. NyQuil chicken, yeah. I know it's harsh for me to believe this, but I really believe if you're stupid enough to cook with cough medicine, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm disinterested in your well being enough to not really care if it makes you sick. If you're that dumb that you would do that. If you would do something because somebody on the internet said to do it, you're right on the edge of not bright anyway. But if you're talking about cooking chicken with NyQuil, you've crossed that line, and Godspeed, good luck to you. I'm not worried about it anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Well, here's what prosecutors think. Thank you. You just saved us our due diligence to chase stuff down. You and I talked about this right after the January 6th, right after it happened. I said all the people that are posting videos of themselves in buildings, you literally just posted video evidence of you breaking the law. What are you doing? Like the lady in Georgia, I believe it's Durham County, wherever it is in Georgia. You're on video walking people in to look at those machines, and you told investigators you didn't have nothing to do with it and didn't do any of that. You're on video. Oh no, you have no idea how much you're being watched. I talk a lot, especially when I get talking about technology. If you type it, it exists. If you say it around your phone, it exists. The capability of it absolutely exists. When you walk down the street, wherever you are, chances are extremely good that there's a video camera watching you. The last stat I saw, London was the most surveilled major city that they could get numbers on. And the number was, if you walked around the streets of London for one day, you could be expected to be videotaped over 5,000 times. Yeah, I mean they're everywhere. They're a part of society. If you don't think they're a part of society, you're oblivious. If you don't think that somebody is going to see your video, and if it's a video of you breaking the law, if you don't think that that's going to come back and bite you on the rear end, you're oblivious, or worse. Yeah, you literally evidence. Exhibit A is from your own phone. Absolutely amazing to me that people don't get that. And I go back to what I've said before. It's got to be one of two things. Either you've got to be an absolute dullard, or you don't think the rules apply to you. It's got to be one of the two. Now, can it be a blend? Absolutely. But when you do something blatantly against the rules for everybody literally on the planet to see, if I post a video of me in a restricted space, the entire planet has seen evidence of me breaking a rule. It's, yeah. I'm really glad you brought that up. It was announced yesterday, and again, to toot my own horn, you'll remember after those last hearings happened, I said there's going to be more information. There's going to be more, and it's going to happen closer to the election. And sure as shooting, they announced yesterday there's going to be another hearing. I know that Trump, his electability slash favorability with the Republicans is going down, but I guarantee you, if there's ever been a person that this concept applies, it's Donald Trump. I will not go quietly. You ever heard that song? That's what this is. And literally, if you subpoena the court or petition the court and you want this special master, and you get the special master, and the first interaction with the special master doesn't go well for you, which it didn't. Well, the last story I saw about his lawyers is his lawyers are trying to hire lawyers. And it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. And the people that are upset about it have been upset about it. And the people that aren't upset about it aren't going to get upset about it now. And in a weird way, the New York Attorney General story kind of feeds into that and makes perfect sense. Let me ask you this. If it was anyone other than Donald Trump, would there be an announcement about an announcement from the Attorney General of any state at all? If Josh Shapiro issues a statement saying we're going to make a major announcement tomorrow, we'd pay attention to it. Here in Beaver County, we'd pay attention to it in PA. It's not going to be national news. It's not going to be the front page of every news outlet when you bring them up. But because it's Donald Trump, it's major news. New York Attorney General Letitia James announced that she would be making a major announcement. It was supposed to happen at 11:30. I haven't seen anything. The assumption is this has something to do with Donald Trump because of the investigation with his business dealings. And you say, well, what are the actual allegations? I know it's tough to keep track. It's a civil case. It involves allegations that the Trump organization misstated the value of prized assets, misled lenders and tax authorities. Last month, Trump invoked his Fifth Amendment right not to answer. I think he invoked his right 400 something, a bunch of times. In May, the AG's office said that they were nearing the end of the probe, and investigators have substantial evidence. That was in May. It's now the end of I'll get into the end of September. What's the major announcement? And why is it major? An announcement shouldn't be major unless the announcement's major. It shouldn't be major because somebody's name's in it. This is pandering. Major announcement. Turns out Donald Trump is expected to be charged with fragile.
Who's this week's pick of the litter? Listen to Beaver County Radio every Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon for the Beaver County Humane Society's Pick of the Litter. We'll be highlighting 2 lucky resident animals from the shelter who need a loving home. Plus, we'll be featuring pictures and information about the animals on our website each week. It's WBVP WMBA 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM's Pick of the Litter each Monday and Friday at the 11 o'clock hour of Teleforum. Pick of the Litter on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by the Beaver Falls Beauty Academy, Nally Elias and Associates, Tom Sipes Demolition, Albert's Heating and Air Conditioning in Conway, and Beaver County Radio. 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA.
The best of Beaver County to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the Best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the Best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romine this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
Beaver County High School football has always been known as the best high school football around, and again this year, everybody around the world will get a peek at the action as Beaver County Radio will have a live and video stream for all the games aired on WBVP and 99.3 FM. That's right, you can watch the WBVP Game of the Week on Trib Live and Facebook Live. This Friday night, tune in for Freedom at Riverside on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, Facebook and VCR audio and video streams of the Trib Live High School Sports Network. On 95.7 FM, 1460 WMBA, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. West Allegheny travels to Aliquippa. Both games will be at 6:30 airtime, and kickoff is set for 7 p.m. for both games. High school football coverage is brought to you in part by the Medic Rescue, Keystone Wellness Program, Drug Free Aliquippa, LGKG, and the Lockwood Insurance Agency, among others, right here on Beaver County Radio.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles
Jim Roddy,
this community.
#1 super guy.
For more information, and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
It's the place to make
10 minutes before 11 o'clock at Beaver County Radio.
live from the St. Barnabas Studios at 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
10 minutes before high noon at Beaver County Radio. It's Teleforum. My name is Eddie Crow. One more story, and I think I'll have a little time tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be busy too, but this is a story that is, if you haven't seen it yet, you will. You're aware of the illegal immigrants that got flown to Martha's Vineyard. 50 people. You're aware of that, right? You're aware that Governor DeSantis put forth the notion that they were all told what was going on and they signed a form. That was the next part. Now, it's being reported, you can believe it or not, it's being reported that the people that got on that trip weren't told the truth before they got on the trip. And you say, so what? And I would understand that reaction until I read this story. Them being moved under false pretenses puts them in position to get a special visa. By having enticed the migrants to board the planes under false pretenses, those that lured them, including DeSantis, committed a crime, which you can argue guilty or not, but on paper anyway. Those crimes could qualify the migrants as victims under human trafficking laws. Lawyers are looking into it now. It could get them something called a U visa. It's a special non-immigrant status established by the Victims of Trafficking and Violence Prevention Act of 2000, designed to protect immigrants who were victimized by crimes. According to lawyers, this case falls directly under the definition of trafficking. Enforcement can come at the federal or state or local level. So as it sits right now, this political stunt, I'm not going to argue about whether or not it was justified. I understand the point that was trying to be made, but it backfired spectacularly. We'll send them up there. Oh, they're taking care of them? And as it turns out, if the people were misinformed before they were put on the flight, they now can get a visa to go anywhere they want. When it comes to being vindictive and petty and buffoonish, always do research first. I learned that a long time ago. One of the things I will talk about tomorrow, I'll mention it briefly now. I didn't forget about roundabouts. I didn't forget about it, the study that came out a couple days ago. Here's the reality of it. You don't like it, I don't like it. We've never dealt with it, but a roundabout is safer than a four-way stop. The statistics are out. Do we understand how they work? No, because we've never done it. Do we understand how it works when it comes to the Turnpike and PennDOT? No, but it keeps happening. You'll remember when they were fining people, when the machine wouldn't read the plate and they just automatically pop them and not even tell them, And then the legislation went through that said, okay, they'll tell you when they take the money, the Easy Pass VTOL. That was the deal. Not that we won't take the money because our machines are garbage. We'll take the money, but we'll tell you. Well, according to a story that came out this morning, they're still doing it. And I'm going to talk to some legislators about it. There are bills, bipartisan bills, to make them stop that. The final vote is expected this October. Turnpike officials say they have actually started to notify customers about the penalty tolls. This is simple. This is simple. And this is a rare time when I get to use Ohio as an example of a positive thing. God bless you, Buckeye State. Put people in the booths. That's it. That's it. And you say, well, that'll cost more money. At this point, what difference does it possibly make? They didn't collect $104 million in tolls since 2021, and the problem is expected to get worse. The just released state audit said, yeah, there was $104 million in tolls since we switched to this newfangled system that we didn't get. I gotta believe people in those booths collectively are making less than $104 million over the span of a year. That's just me applying math. Tomorrow it's Thursday. I'll apply the schedule to you. It's Best of Beaver County. Mike Rowe might host that. That happens every Thursday. Also tomorrow, Scott Tatey will join me. The last show in the series at Beaver Station happens this weekend. Nash, it's going to be great. I will be there. That show is a Friday night. I'll ask Scott to double check, but we'll talk about that. On Friday, Sandy Agley will join me. I know she's gonna talk about taxes. We're gonna talk about other stuff too. Seriously, your new system has lost $104 million since 2021. Maybe you need to go back to the old system with people being there. They gotta make less than that. I mean, I'm sure it's a good paying gig, but still.
Beaver County High School football has always been known as the best high school football around, and again this year, everybody around the world will get a peek at the action as Beaver County Radio will have a live online video stream for all the games there on WBBPN 99.3 FM. That's right, you can watch the WBB Game of the Week on Trib Live and Facebook Live. This Friday night, tune in for Freedom at Riverside on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBBP, Facebook and VCR audio and video streams, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. On 95.7 FM, 1460 WMBA, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. West Algate travels to Aliquippa. Both games will be at 6:30 airtime, and kickoff is set for 7 p.m. for both games. High school football coverage is brought to you in part by Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, the Beaver County Career Technology Center, CCBC, Electric Garage Door Sales, and Falcone's Moon Township Ford, among others, right here on Beaver County Radio.
8:49, 30. All right, here's the announcement.
Season. Show number 1, Atlantic City Boys, Tuesday, September 20th at 7:30 p.m. Show number 2, Nick and Desi, Broadway Song, Dance, and Romance, Saturday, October 8th at 7:30 p.m. Show number 3, Sail On, the Beach Boys Tribute, Thursday, November 17th at 7:30 p.m. Concerts held at the Beaver Falls Middle School Auditorium. For more information, contact Peggy McCullough, 724-846-3203. Please visit our website, www.bbcommunityconcert.org. Adult tickets, $60. Student tickets, $10. Or purchase the tickets at the door, $25 for adults, student tickets, $5. That's the Beaver Valley Community Concert Association.
95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 for a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by Crawford Tire and Beaver, the William Murphy Funeral Home, City Rescue Mission, MRS Physical Therapy, Circle of Friends, J&J Spratt Funeral Home and Rome Monument in inspirational gifts. Stories of faith, uplifting,
Here was the big announcement from the Attorney General in the state of New York. They have filed a $250 million lawsuit against Donald Trump for persistent and repeated business fraud. That's the big announcement? Okay. Good luck with that. There are other people in line in front of you. You know that, right?
0.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBBP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Average.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Hurricane Fiona is directly blamed for at least 4 deaths during its march through the Caribbean. Well, gray wind and rains it unleashed in Puerto Rico have left most people there without power, half without running water. Parts of the island receiving more than 25 inches of